Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and today we're going to be looking at some PLO hands I played in a session last night. But before you switch off in droves, even if you don't want to look at the hands, skip towards the end of the video when you see the Hold'em Manager screen come up, because I've got some questions I'd like the opinions of experienced players on, and of any kind of Hold'em or any kind of poker, sorry. So yeah, please, if you don't want to watch the hands, I get that. PLO videos are not popular, but it's what I've been doing, and this channel is kind of me just vlogging about what I'm doing in poker and my thoughts, etc. So yeah, I get you might not want to look at the hands, totally get that. It's not my PLO videos are particularly popular, but please do kind of go to them. I mean, watch the whole video because some of the hands are going to be relevant to what I want to talk about at the end of the video. But if you can't be asked watching all the video, I'll try and capture my thoughts at the end that like refer to the hands without you needing to actually have seen them. Before we get into the video properly, I would urge would be too strong, but I would encourage any of you guys out there who absolutely love poker, but aren't doing that great at no limit hold'em, to take a look at broadening your poker horizons, whether that's into tournaments, whether that's into PLO, whether that's into 6+, whether that's into other, like any game basically that's non-hold'em, because I watch quite a lot of like different content creators and what have you, and no limit hold'em is just it's a really tough game now. At the micro stakes, it's tough because there's just an awful lot of guys like me kicking around who are just fucking nits, not making a ton of money, but not losing a ton of money either. Certainly not losing at a quick enough rate to make the rake beatable. And there just aren't that many really bad players kicking around. Certainly not enough really bad players kicking around to afford players like good win rates. And by good win rates, I mean like 6 big blinds, 100+. I mean, I know these days that the um, common theory is that if you're just breaking even or just about beating the rake, that you're doing well. And then if you're making a little bit of rake back on top, then great. You know, if you're making money from rake back, then you're doing fine. Just continue. That is bullshit. It's just the purest bullshit ever. Of like, is that what you want? When I first started playing poker, I was talking about this in with some of the guys in Discord on Monday. We have like we call it Monday Club, where a bunch of us, maybe sometimes just 3 or 4, sometimes 8 or 9 come in. I just sitting there basically just chilling, chatting about poker. Sometimes someone will share their screen so we can just like have something to watch while we're chatting shit about poker and things. And I was chatting about this on Monday with those lads, and like saying like what is poker to people these days? I consider myself recreational as a player now, and one of my closest contacts, one of the closest people I've never met who was like speak to about poker, like he kind of referred to that almost scornfully, as if to say, like really, you refer to yourself as recreational. But like, I'm a micro stakes player. I make a few quid from the game, but essentially, I'm not a pro, never have been, never will be. And like, what is a reg? Is a reg just someone who plays a lot, breaks even, breaks a lot, plays a lot, loses a little bit, or what have you? And then there was another discussion earlier in the week about should we even be discussing like regs versus recreationals, or should we just discuss poker from the view of who makes money and who doesn't make money? And if you look at it from the second perspective of who makes money and who doesn't make money, then in No Limit, there ain't many regs around, these days, in terms of like people who make money. There's so many players who like you look at them and they're just not making money, or they're making such a small amount of money, it's not worth the fucking effort. And there'll be loads and loads of you guys out there. I'm because of my methods and my game selection, basically my bum hunting, I still make money at No Limit, but I'm not a good No Limit player. Well, I am. Well, no, that's not true. I'm pretty good at No Limit, but not good enough these days compared to what good really is. Like maybe in 2000, I don't know, 2008, 9 to 2016, 17, I consider myself to be quite good, but the way the game's gone, in terms of like how people study it now, and like we now know much better about what good players really look like, or what good play really looks like. You realise just how fucking dog shit you are and how little you know about the game. But that's me, you, and 99% of other players who maybe think they're quite good, but in reality they're fucking not. They're just like trying to follow some new strategies, some new solutions, and they don't know. They don't know 10% of the strategy really. There's maybe some of the better ones know 20-25% of the strategy, but ultimately it's just like saturated with the app, like No Limit Hold'em, particularly the micro stakes, is just saturated with really shitty regs. Who kind of studied a little bit, but they don't have enough time to study because they work. So they just get some really crappy strategies in place where they play relatively tight. They do a little bit of extra 3-betting pre-flop they never used to do. And then they got their, I'm going to use a couple of different sizes on the flop, none of them being more than half pot. And they just think that makes them a good player. And then you watch them play, and then they just like slate every other player in the fucking pool that isn't doing what they're doing. Someone does something they didn't expect. And it's, how's he done that? This guy's fucking shit. So you've got really shit players calling other shit players shit, and it's just a fucking mess. And most of these guys are just relying primarily on rakeback to make any money. And rakeback should be the cherry on the cake, and it isn't. It's basically the cake now, isn't it? If your entire No Limit Hold'em profit comes from getting your little bit of rate back at the end of the week or the end of the month, and then you don't make any money at the table, or you make like one big bill and 100 at the tables or something, then what you've got there is a really shit cake, because your rate back's your cake. So that's like a really shit cake, and then you've got like a really grotty, fucking out of date, shriveled up cherry on top. It's a fucking mess, and it ain't gonna get better for you. You might think it is. You might think, "Oh, I'll work a little bit harder, study a couple more sims a fucking week, blah blah." It fucking isn't gonna get better. No Limit Hold'em basically is pretty much fucked at the micro stakes, and it will remain to be fucked for, well, probably indefinitely, until something significant changes within the game. Whether that's people like getting rid of speed poker, for example, that'd be a good start. Or if they were to increase the maximum buy-in, increase the minimum buy-in, add antes, add a third blind. Something needs to change in No Limit Hold'em for it to become much more profitable again. And it ain't going to change, because the sites are making a fortune from it, just raking every cunt to death. No one's making any money hardly. No one's making any progress. So it ain't going to change. The system is rigged in favour of the sites, and it's not going to change that way. So I would encourage you guys to get more pleasure from the game, to get more bang from your buck, to do something different. And I'm not saying PLO. It doesn't have to be PLO. It can be going to tournaments, which are more fun if nothing else. You'll get more enjoyment for your money, probably. Learn some of the mixed games. Especially if you've got access to PokerStars, which I don't. If you're on GG, they have like and some other sites, but they have the 6+ game. Just do something fucking different. Don't just be a slave to No Limit, and don't just be a slave to the site where you're playing. I don't know. You're playing 10-0. You're grafting really hard. You're playing 10, 15, 20,000 hands a week, sorry. Really trying hard to make progress in the game. And you're coming away at the end of the week, maybe having made 2 buy-ins from your 10,000 hands. And meanwhile, the site's made 10 buy-ins from you. You paid 10 buy-ins in rake to make 2 buy-ins. You're paying a very, very high tariff for a particularly shit product. It's a little bit like, you say, like the way poker is now. Imagine you bought really expensive theatre tickets, to go and watch what you thought was going to be a really good show. So I'm going to pay over the odds. I'm going to treat myself because I really want to have a really good experience. So I'm going to pay a lot of money to have a good experience. And then you get to the theatre, you're there, you're enjoying yourself. You think you want to go and have like a nice fucking vodka and tonic before you start, and then go and watch your performance. You get in to the bar area, and they haven't got vodka and tonic anymore. Well, they've got vodka, but it's a really shit Russian vodka. There's like cheap as chips, fucking fire water, and they haven't got tonic, so they just fucking fire a little bit of soda water in it for you. They give you that drink. It tastes like shit. They don't even put ice in it, and they charge you fucking 12 quid for it. You're being fucking robbed. You get out, you watch the performance, you're looking forward to watching these classically trained actors deliver a fantastic performance, and the fucking children of Mitchell Brook fucking Primary come out and do one of the shit plays that they always put on the Big Fat Quiz of the Year every year. You got a bunch of kids fucking stumbling over their lines, running around with cardboard boxes around and looking like fucking rocket ships. That's basically what No Limit Hold'em is now. You're paying a very, very high fucking price. You're paying a very high tariff in the amount of rake you're paying relative to the amount of money you win. You are not getting value for money. And if you think you are, but you're winning at, say, one big or two big blinds 100, and you're getting another 3 or 4 big blinds rake back 100 back. So like every 10,000 hands you play, you maybe make 6 buy-ins, but the fucking site's making 10, 11 or 12 of you, depending on your VPIP. It's a rigged economy. It's rigged against you, and you shouldn't participate in it. You should do something else for your money as a recreational player who's looking for fun within the game. He's looking to get fun from playing poker. So yeah, that's why I'm back on the like playing some PLO again, because I mean, I've been talking about this for a lot of years now, but No Limit at the micro stakes is pretty much fucked. Traffic's dropping in like several places. Speed poker seems to be king. And yeah, there's better games to be found out there. If you're a recreational losing player and you're content with that, you enjoy just playing and accepting that you're losing, there's still going to be better ways you can find to enjoy the money you spend on poker. Games that give you a better chance of having a nice win now and again, and games that allow your money to last that little bit longer than it does when you're grinding No Limit, especially at speed poker tables. So yeah, that's my urging to you as a recreational player. And let's face it, people who watch my channels are mostly going to be like recreational players. Probably 70-80% of you are not making much or any money at all from the games, and I just want to see like people enjoy the game more than people currently do. It's a pretty like miserable, toxic environment a lot of the time, and that breeds from people just generally being unhappy with their lot in the game. So try something different. Just have a week where I'm going to do something different, and if you don't like it, no, it's not like No Limit's going anywhere. It's not like you're going to be, if I walk away from this, I can't go back. It's like walking out on a marriage because you fancy shagging the girl next door, and then the girl next door turns out to have a fucking venereal disease, and uses her teeth too much when she sucks your cock. It's not like you get so then, the girl next door, she's not what I thought she was. I'll go back to my wife. Oh, I can't because she's changed her fucking locks. That's not a thing. You try something else for a week or so, and if you don't like it, you go back to No Limit. It's no big deal, is it? Just try something else. So yeah, that's me ranted for 13 minutes about the state of No Limit, and that was due one of them. And yeah, we've done that. And we'll go on now. We'll look at the hands because there are some fun ones in here, and at the end we'll look at my results for the 4 or 5 days I've been playing Pot Limit Home Hard this week. And there's a few things I want to discuss around around variance and what have you. So yeah, we'll nip through these hands because I don't know a lot about PLO, so I'm not going to be too thought provoking about them. I'm not going to have too many like stunning things to say or insightful things to say, and then we'll get to the end of the video where we're going to look at my graph and what have you. So we'll get into this first time. We have 2 kings and 2 deuces, 2 kings, sorry, and no suits. These are what I like to call really fucking shit pocket kings. We do have like a suit of spades. Sorry, said there's no suits. We do have 1 suit. Well, I mean, they're not particularly attractive kings. The 6 and the deuce are not particularly good side cards. But we are in a pot. We've got someone who's over a small sample playing 85 over 20, and then someone who's call playing 67 over 17. So we're not up against 2 geniuses here. Question is, do we just want to call here and just try and like set man with our kings, or do we want to 3-bet and try and at least get the pot heads up so we have more chance of our kings actually fucking holding? Or we're able to like c-bet more flops because if we call here and we go 4 ways to the flop, including ourselves, there's going to be loads of flops it's not going to do anything on. Just say it comes down, say 10-9-4 against 3 opponents. We're probably just in check fold mode. In a heads up pot, we can probably, especially against one of these 2 guys, we can probably just c-bet and get it in and just like ride the variance train, I imagine, but I don't fucking know. So the question is, do we want to squeeze pre and try and get heads up and probably end up multi-way against these two guys, or do we just want to just call and just try and flop really well? And on this occasion, I elected to go with the squeeze, if I recall correctly. You can see I'm not really happy with my side cards. I'm looking around at my opponents, like, what to do. We do go with the squeeze. He absolutely snap calls. And then the other one does. And then he calls too. So our squeeze just hasn't fucking worked. The idea of squeezing so we can get heads up and then maybe c-bet slightly more liberally has been a complete fucking disaster. But fortunately, we've been bailed out by the deck and we flopped upset. So this hand isn't going to be much to say about this now. I mean, we'd like to be able to go all in, but we can't. So we're going to just virtually go all in. There's nothing to do with the pot this. I think you'll see my cursor at some point go over here. I was going to consider looking at, does this guy c-bet much versus missed? Does this guy bet versus c-bet much? But sample size is a joke, so there's no point even looking at that. You can see, I think my cursor is going to go over to it then. Like, nah, don't bother, Reg. What's the fucking point? Just pot it. Which is what we did. This guy just doesn't give a fuck. We got top set, and he's just like, yeah, I want to put more money in. Okay. Not sure what you can have, dude, but good for you. Let's go for it. And this guy just has like the 5, 8, 6. It's probably a reasonable call pre. I don't fucking know. I mean, when the guy's playing 67%, this is probably close to top of range pre. He'd probably, you're never getting him off this with a welding torch. Probably just get all the money in pre if he wanted, if he was allowed to. I mean, it's not a great hand, but this is what makes his games so good. Personally, I don't think this is the hand that you want to put this much money in pre-flop. Maybe if he wants to play it pre, he should be 3-betting this guy who's opening too wide, but he's not going to be thinking like that. It's just 5, 6, 8, ace, 2 suits, get me to a flop, and he's got to the flop, and then he's flopped as well as he could hope to, really, without making a made hand. And yeah, it's very understandable why our opponents played the hand the way he did. And it's just a matter of how we're going to get there. Are we going to hold? Sorry, we didn't hold on the turn. Sorry, we rushed through that. He did improve to the nuts on the turn, but we rebanged the full house off on the river, and we dragged down a nice pot. On to the next one. We have the 8, 9, 10 jack, and straight away here we have a decision of, do we want to 3-bet this hand or just call? It's very, very, very playable hand. It's like I mean, the suits don't matter too much when we've got lower cards, but we do have the perfect rundown. It's a beautiful hand, and the thing we're asking here is, do we want to squeeze this hand pre-flop, or do we want to just call? And I think if we got pretty aggro regs in behind us, or like regs in behind us, maybe we probably want to squeeze just to knock the regs out of the pot behind us. When we look behind and we either don't know enough about our opponents, or we don't think we're going to get squeezed very often, like 54, 8, etc. We could decide to call. Or if we had, say, 2 of these guys behind, we could decide to 3-bet to just try and make them. We probably wouldn't fold. We should try and make them fold. Again, I don't know. I could be talking right out of my fucking ring PC because I'm not a good PLO player. I'm good enough to play in these games because of how soft they are, but I'm not good at PLO. I don't really understand solid fundamental PLO strategy. That's for fucking certain. But you don't need to when you're playing in games this soft. Anyways, I think I elected just to call in this instance. Sorry, that's going to disappear in a moment. Then we get squeezed by the guy who's currently playing 54/8. So this is just, you'd imagine, going to be a very good hand. Everyone seems to call. I'm now rethinking about, do I just call again here, try and see a flop, or do we just say fuck it and just run it against these two, try and make this person fold? We got this guy in with, what's he got, half a stack. This guy's got half a stack. This guy's all in for nothing, and we got this guy behind us. So now, do we want to just call here and close the action? No, sorry, call here, not closing the action, sorry. Or do we just want to just click the pot button now, squeeze? Hopefully this guy folds and we just run it against these two. I mean, if just imagine he's got like ace, ace, XX, and this guy's got whatever the fuck he's got. Then this probably has reasonable equity against their two holdings. Imagine, assuming that he's going with it and he's going with it. I'd imagine that this hand has like at least 33% equity. And then there's dead money. If we get this guy to fold, this guy's dead money's in to fuck him. You know, if we can get it in here with like 33% plus equity, then just potting it and like getting in is probably fine. And again, I don't know. I could be talking right out of my ring piece, but my decision was: do we just try and make him fold and run it with a hand that probably has a reasonable equity, or do we just call, see a flop, and then just get it in on flops that we like the look of? And I didn't want to just call here and have this guy fucking back raise, so I think I ended up just potting it, and I don't know if it's fucking any good or not. I mean, my hand is relatively pretty, but it's not super sexy. But I decided to take the higher variance route and just try and run it. And we do get it all in three ways. We are up against aces, as we expected. And then this, which is like, you what, mate? You what? What is this? I don't fucking know. I mean, sadly, the equities don't show up here. We could pull up an equity thing and run it. I can't be fucking bothered, to be honest. But I'd imagine that we are doing okay-ish. Sadly, this guy just bangs off a flush, and this guy just bangs off a flush as well. So they've got like four between them, four hearts between them. There's only 9 left in the fucking deck, and 3 of the cunts come out on the flop. So yeah, this flop was not particularly good for us, but we're doing better than this guy who's drawing fucking dead because the jack's there. So we're doing better than this guy at least, but not by a lot. And then we just bang the full house off on the river, and fuck both of you guys. LOL, PLO. That was a punt from me, I think, but fortunately, it was a punt that paid off. And at the time, I didn't realise, because I like saw this, oh, fuck, you're drawing dead reg, forget about it, never mind. And I then just turned my attention to my other table, because I didn't even see that I flopped 2 pair. All I saw was 3 red ones, and like, red, you're drawing dead, you fucking idiot. Didn't realise I flopped 2 pair, didn't realise I had a tiny bit of equity. And then I looked back over, and all of a sudden, the chips were standing to me. I was like, oh, I want a side pot. And then that one slid to me. I was like, oh, how have I won this pot then? And then I realised I'd driven a full house, and I was pretty pleased with the situation. On to the next one. We have shit kings again. We have been 3-bet by someone who I tagged orange. She's got these stats so far, which is my like, yeah, you're a reg, but I don't know if you're any good reg stats. Who knows what to think of him? It's probably just aces. Because there just isn't an awful lot of 3-betting in these games. I mean, occasionally people will 3-bet like a nice rundown hand, but I think if you're playing microstakes, pot limit Omaha, and you're playing someone who's 3-betting, I mean, obviously you're playing fucking the nutters who are 3-betting like God knows what absurd percentages, then it's different. But most regs, it's just going to be the shit regs, just going to be aces or now and again something like double suited and pretty. So I assume aces for the time being. And then this guy comes along and calls, so like, right, fine, whatever. Our hand has very little value, but if we flop top set, we might win a big pot. So obviously I like to call, I'm not loving it, but we like to call. And then we flop the low end of a straight. Now this guy doesn't have any of this board unless he's very much in the like suited rundown territory. So we're not ruling out him having like 9-8 and what have you, but it's way more likely he's just got ace ace XX. Now he could have a flush draw with that, of course, so he could have some equity, but it's not a good board for this guy. You wouldn't imagine. Now this guy, who only fucking knows if it's a good board for him. We've got the shit end of a straight. So we're just going to end up checking here because we've got the shit end of a straight. I guess I was planning on check raising this guy who didn't bet, which is not surprising because, I mean, I've already established it's not a good board for this guy. And then I'm checking to him, which he probably isn't going to bet very often. I guess we're just hoping he had 2 aces and he was going to go potty try to protect them. Anyway, he checks. And then all of a sudden, our friend here, the 86% guy, just decides he wants to bet the pot button. And I think that we should just fold now. You know, we've got, our hand has no way of improving unless we hit like runner boat or runner quads. we just have we just do not have good equity here. I think this we're going to end up losing this pot, by the way, and this might be the worst hand I've played since playing some PLO at the weekend, because I just got obsessed with him being 86 VPIP and didn't really resonate with me enough that Reg, your hand is really fucking dog shit. You know, if you've got no way of improving that backdoor flush, big deal. Backdoor fucking quads or full house. I should just fold my hand now. We flopped a straight, but it's a rubbish straight, and you know just between them, their combined equity, especially if this guy calls, he's just going to have me absolutely crushed. We do call up because I'm a fucking moron. Turn to 3, which doesn't really change very much. It doesn't help us at all. Maybe helps one of these a little bit, but doubt it. But if somebody was in there, no, fuck, just shut up, Reg. Shut up, you fucking fat idiot. Stop trying to justify things, Reggie. It's a shit hand, played badly. This guy goes all in for 16. I'm like, oh, fuck my life. Now I have to call. Because it's like we're getting 1,000,000 to 1, but this cunt's still in there. And we're deep with this cunt. And, oh, I don't fucking know. Just a complete clusterfuck of a hand. This cunt comes along and calls. Then there's a 5, and oh great, now the fucking board's paired. Now I don't even beat his fucking sets anymore. This guy clearly doesn't have the fucking best hand, but whatever. Can we get value if we bet here? Can we like try and rep miss spades and just bluff? Try and rep a fucking. But what's the point in turning our hand into a bluff? Because if we're losing to him, what we like. Can we get value from this guy? Is this guy really going to call a huge fucking bet with just bare aces? Fuck knows. I was just annoyed myself, just gave up. And this guy checks back as well, and this guy just had the nuts, of course. This guy did have the ace, as you can see. I don't know what else he had with it. I was too disgusted to go and fucking check. I'm assuming he had a flush draw. Is that another black one next to it? I don't fucking know. But if he did have aces in the flush draw, how he's not just getting it in, I do not fucking know. Anyways, that hand was a total and utter clusterfuck, and I was not happy with myself. On to the next one. We have an ace, a king, a 3, and a jack. We have a 79/58 over small sample min raising. We have a 64/11 over smaller sample calling. We have a hand here that probably should squeeze, I imagine. Problem is, no fucker ever folds, and we don't even have a pair to fall back on. But we just have a hand that's going to flop pretty well a lot of the time, or just flop nothing a lot of the time. If this board comes down like 2 broadways, or we have 2 flush draws, then great, we can just pound money in post flop if we flop a strong draw. And this time we'll flop a lot of strong draws. And if it just comes down 6, 7, 3, no one of our suits, we just have a really easy just check fold and give up. So we did elect to squeeze. Get on with it, Reg. I know why this hand's taken so long. Because the last time we just played on the other table, and the last hand, sorry, was on the other table, so we were in 2 spots at once. So we squeeze it up. Disappointingly, we're going to make it £4.50 due to the pot limit nature of the game. And this dude just cold calls. Right, okay. Maybe that isn't good news. And everyone calls. As expected, everyone calls. And we flop. What to all intents and purposes is the fucking nuts. It's really unlikely anyone has a better flush than us right now. I mean, we've got the jack, the ace, the king, and the 10 are out there. So for someone to have like a queen high flush, you need to have like the queen 9 of hearts in their hand, queen 8 of hearts. Maybe, who knows? Maybe someone's in there with 2 random hearts because they're set mining. Maybe someone's like, I don't know, fucking got 9-9 queen 3 of 9-9 queen 4, and the queen and the 4 are hearts, or queen and the 9 are hearts. So it's possible someone could have a queen high flush, but it's pretty unlikely. You can't be scared of shit like that. We just flopped the second nuts in a squeeze pot, and we're multi-way, so we just got to start piling money in. And hoping someone's in there with maybe a set of 10s, maybe a set of kings, maybe someone's flopped a straight, tons of 2 pairs out there. We just need to build the pot, basically, in my opinion. We bet 15. He goes all in, which straight away I'm thinking that just has to be the nut flush. Probably can't be anything. Maybe it's a set, but I mean, why would I mean we can just have pocket aces here? So I mean, unless he's got some really like raggy aces, then what sets would he want to raise this flop with? It just felt an awful lot like this guy somehow has the queen high flush, but it's a squeeze pot, and we've got the second nuts. What are we going to do? Oh, stop doing that. Get off. Oh, get off. So we end up just whatever. In we go. And he does indeed. He does indeed have stone nuts. I mean, if it was like, I don't fucking know. I mean, I wouldn't call this pre, but lots of people do. Call these type of hand pre. I mean, his call might be completely fine. I don't fucking know. I mean, he wants to get in pots with these two guys like I do. He's got position on me, so I don't fucking know. Seems shit to me, but it's probably fine. I've got a fucking clue really. But anyway, yeah, we're fucked. We've got it in basically drawing very, very thin. And we just get there again with another rivered full house. And this is leading on to what I want to talk about at the end of the video. We'll park it here for now. But in terms of this, this hand is showing that I got my chips in really fucking bad. And like I probably ran like fucking way above EV in this hand. Which is fine. I get that because I did run really way above EV in this hand. But excuse me, my voice went there. But I mean, we flopped really, really well. And we're in a spot where only one hand beats us, and we don't really think our opponent's that likely to fucking have it. And he did. So, like, this makes me look like I played shit and got my money in really bad, when, you know, I don't think I did. I don't think I made a mistake in the hand, really. You know, so this is what we're going to talk about later. But think of this hand when we go back to talk about what I'm going to talk about later. Remember back to this hand, and I'll go back to maybe we'll even spin back in the video and look at it at the end of the video again too, for the guys that haven't wanted to watch their hands but have skipped to the end of the video like I asked them to at the start. So maybe we'll go back and look at that again. And then to the next hand we have double suited aces, which is particularly pleasant. We have this guy who's wanting to play all the hands. We played against earlier with the. We played it. This is with the third part. I think we played with them in this video. We flop ourselves a top set. We check. He pots it. And the reason I'm checking here is because our hand isn't particularly vulnerable. It's not like no limit hold'em where we want to protect against a fourth club coming. Either the guy's got a flush or he hasn't got a flush. If he hasn't got a flush, then he's probably in pretty rough shape. You know, if he's got the 6-7, we're letting him like have some shots at a straight, for example. But I would rather he just like let him blast off. He's 88-31. He's a whale. I'd rather just let him blast off here with like who knows fucking what, some random bluffs or some hands that he's like maybe wouldn't call too many bets, but he's keen to protect when we check. I don't know. I just wanted to let him blast anyway. So we check. We just don't really want to see a straight card coming. Of course, a potential straight card does come. Again, it's the fact it's the club's irrelevant, doesn't change anything. But now some straights do get there, like a 9-6 gets there, a 4-6 gets there, etc. But is he that likely now he's made a straight? Is he that likely to like now bet with it, given that, you know, if he has a straight, he only really gets called by flushes, you'd imagine. So I don't fucking know. So I think we're still doing fine against his value part of his range. We're obviously losing to flop flushes, but I don't think the board's changed enough to want to like deviate from my strategy of just checking and allowing him to blast. And now we have like $16 left to get in, $15, whatever it is. I decided now's the time to go all in. And maybe this is an overplay. Maybe we just don't go all in here. I don't fucking know. But we've got top set in a 3-bet pot against a fucking mug. And he doesn't have to have flushes. So we just like, whatever. In we go. And of course, he does have the flush. And what are you going to fucking do against that, I suppose? I mean, is there a way we don't have to get stacked here? Probably. If there is, I'm not a good enough player to find it right now, so we didn't. We just got stacked, and we did not get there this time, sadly. So again, that's just another spot where it looks like we got our money in really bad because we did get it in really bad, but against our opponent's range, was it really that bad? I don't fucking know. This hand where this is this hand's in because this guy was playing 66/4, and there was like two of the regs at this table, and they both just left, but they were staying at other tables, which I thought was fucking bonkers. But there you go. So this is like, do we 3-bet pre? Then you can see me look. He's playing 66/4. The guy just isn't opening enough hands. I think if we 3-bet Queen 8-6 versus a 66/4, we have to expect we're going to get 4-bet a lot, and we don't want to get 4-bet with this hand, so we just called. We flop ourselves like the low end of a straight. We got blockers to like King Queen, and we have a backdoor flush draw. So here's to me, it's quite simple. We're just going to check, hope he bets, and then we're just going to try and get the money in as quickly as possible against overpairs, against draws, etc. This hand's in really interesting, to be honest with you. Not really sure why it's in there. You see I'm hovering over what I wanted to be the snap call button, but it was there, not there. And then this guy's in. He's just got the big draw. Fair play to him. Typical standard PLO hand, and we hold. On to the next one. This is something that, if there are any like semi-decent PLO players watching, I'm not going to take your word as gospel, but I'd like some opinions on. I mean, I end up doing something here which I think is pretty shit, but it's something I've been doing consistently since we've come back. And it's sort of like a hybrid play that works in no limit, doesn't really work in PLO, I don't think. We have options here. We can maybe, I mean, we can't fold this hand, it's just too pretty. Do we pot ISO to 225? Do we overlimp, which I think is, again, reasonable enough, but I'm not sure, like overlimping. Then we can just call an ISO, guaranteeing seeing ourselves a flop. Don't really love the idea of that. Or can we do what I do, which I think is, I don't think it's particularly good. We just 3x, which is like something you see in Hold'em quite a lot these days, where you see one limper, and then someone just like 3x. You know, I guess we're supposed to like make big isolation raise in Hold'em these days, but we're seeing people 3x. It could be really this. I don't think it's great in Hold'em. I think it's even worse in this game. But my intention here was just to like hopefully I didn't want to like let these two nits in the blind see a flop. This was kind of why I'm doing this 3x. I don't really want to pot it, and that get a lower SPR, because I think we're going to do best against some of these fishy guys. With like the higher the SPR post flop, the better we're going to do, because the bigger mistakes they're going to make in higher SPR spots. So my intention here is just to hopefully make these two nits in the blinds fold rather than just overlimping and like letting them realise a decent chunk of their equity by seeing the flop. So my idea is just like 150. Whatever. Don't really care what these guys do. I'd rather they folded, but whatever. I'm expecting at least one of them to call, maybe. But get these two out. That was the intention. Make the blinds, make the two nits in the blinds fold. So we'll just not go to the flop 5 way. If we limp here, we'll go to the flop 5 or 6 ways. Whether we get these two out, and then maybe this does a good enough job of getting this guy heads up. I doubt it, but maybe it does. But maybe we should just pot it instead of just 150. And I think potting's probably just going to be better there. But again, another thing that I've been doing, my opens, I always used to open for pot playing PLO. Now I don't. Now I open for 2.4 bigs, which again, it goes against a lot of the stuff I used to read. Jane Andes is like, just open for pot, and obviously he's a really good PLO player. I don't like opening for pot because I'm a reg fish. You open for pot, and then people like booking 3-bet you. It costs more to call and see a flop. That's quite simple, really. And in these games, when people are just 3-betting, their hands are usually going to be pretty much face up as ace XX the vast majority of the time, and then some suited rundowns. And I just want to see cheapish flops against relatively well-defined ranges, and then just like flop well or flop badly or whatever. So yeah, basically, I'm not doing anything too big pre-flop, unless I'm trying to like specifically isolate a whale. And I think there's a chance if we click the pot button, it might garner some folds from other players. It doesn't seem to, but that's the only time I'll click pot pre is if I'm 3-betting or 4-betting. And I don't always click pot when I'm 3-betting. So anyways, yeah, that's that. We've isolated to 1.5 to 3 blinds. Probably a bit shit. This guy limp raises, so we just already know he's got 2 aces. You can almost guarantee that. Problem is he doesn't have an awful lot of money. But the other problem is we're getting 2-1 pre-flop. If he has got 2 aces, like ace XX, we're already getting a reasonable price. with some implied odds. And then this guy coming behind probably is going to call again, giving us even better odds on the call. So we do end up just calling, just hoping to smash the granny out of the flop. Which we do, you know, if we're going to call a limp raise with this hand, this is the sort of hand you want to flop. I mean, if he's got two aces here, we're probably a favourite now. Can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure against two aces we'll be a favourite. We have backdoor hearts, assuming he doesn't have any backdoor flush draws. We have backdoor hearts. We have the 8-9, you know, so we've got like basically any card between a 6 and a jack, I think gives us a straight. I think it does. Can't be asked working, does it? If we just say an 8 comes, do we have a straight? Yeah, we do. We have the 6-9 straight. Oh, yeah. Any card between like a 6 and a jack gives us a straight. Even a 5 improves us to and a 4 then being able to make a straight for us too. So we love our hand at this point. Now plenty of checks, which whatever, he should probably just, if he's got aces, he'd probably just jam off like this SPR, but he doesn't. We go with the full pot. This happens, which disappoints me severely because this guy just probably has a far, far stronger hand than us. I mean, we just wanted this guy here, didn't we? We wanted this guy to fuck off. We wanted this guy just to fold like queens or jacks or something like that. And we wanted this guy to call with aces. Sadly, we don't get that. At least we get the extra value from this guy coming along with the call. And yeah, we're pretty much fucked. You know, he's got the aces of the backdoor flush draw. We don't care about him. But this guy's got the same 8-9 straight draws as, but he also has the jack. Yeah, it's just not a particularly good situation to find ourselves in. At the minute, are we ahead of this guy? Yeah, we're slightly ahead of this guy, but he's got a ton of equity against us. But we're behind to this guy, so we're in fucking rough as toast shape. We need a miracle, basically. And we make our straight, and we're like, we made a straight, whippy, get in there. But then this guy just makes a bigger straight with the jack and the 9. We have the 6-9 straight, he has the jack 9 straight, and he wins all the chips. And yeah, I mean, I think we just meant to lose all our money there, but again, interesting hand. Right, this is where I fucked up slightly on doing my video editing because I'm just shit at video editing. Clearly, don't think this is the hand we want to look at. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know. Maybe another hand's going to pop in a minute. No, I think this is actually the hand we want to look at. Maybe this isn't where I'm shit at video. Maybe it's the next bit where I'm shit at video. I don't fucking know. Anyways, we're in this spot. We've raised. This probably a raise pre. I don't fucking know. Yeah, sure, Reg, of course it is. Fuck off, Reg. Then we just flop ourselves. Bottom set. This fellow pots it 68/4. He's not bluffing. Simple as that. He's not bluffing. This guy calls. We don't know anything about him whatsoever, and we've got a decision about what to do with our set of 8s here. Because this guy isn't bluffing. There's no question about that. He might have worse value. He might have like Jack 8, Jack 7, etc. But he's not bluffing. Maybe he just has like a really big fucking draw. You know, best case scenario is. I don't think we have the best handy with the 8s. That's effectively what I'm trying to say. Is that I think against these two players' combined ranges, we are in not good shape here. If we had top set, it'd be a different question. With different set kettle of fish because we'd be behind, but we'd be, you know, obviously drawing two stronger hands. With bottom set here, with middle set, we could already be behind to a set of jacks from either of these two guys. We're behind to a straight. And this might be total dog shit, but I just, whatever, yeah, probably fucked. I just folded because there isn't that many ways for our hand to improve. If we hit a jack, bigger full houses are potentially out there. Yeah, if we hit a 7, great, you know, we improved there, but there's like 2 7s in the deck. I didn't think that we had very many clear outs. I thought we would beat, and maybe we could be drawing dead, basically. You know, if one of these guys has a set of jacks, then we're drawing dead. If someone has like a flop straight, then yeah, great, but you know, they could also have blockers to us filling up, etc. I just didn't like the spot. So I just folded. And surprise, surprise, we'd have been dead on the, well, not dead, but we've been in great shape. This guy's got the nuts. This guy had the flush draw and the overpair. So we were in great shape. I was really quite pleased with that fold. We just flopped bottom set and just folded to one bet and call. I was pretty nitty, I guess, but I was quite pleased with it. And we wouldn't have got there. So here, we are just, I don't really see, I mean, obviously, I know why we're doing it. We'd love to make it much bigger. This pot size raise isn't going to achieve very much other than build the pot because no one's going to fold. But yeah, whatever. Just pot. And we flop ourselves top set. How incredibly fascinating. Obviously, we're going to bet pretty big. Maybe we could just pot there, but we just decided to go with that size. Call. Turn doesn't change anything. We do our bottom like we pick up a flush draw to go with our top set, so we're loving life. Then this guy just decides to lead. I mean, who knows what he's fucking got? I mean, obviously we're not going nowhere. We're just getting the money in. Top set and a nut flush draw. And we're beat. Our opponent has us beat with the ace deuce 5-3 that just called the 3-bet in the big blind. Again, delighted to be in these games. They're really juicy. But this is, again, it's another hand. I'm putting this hand in not because, well, A, it's a big pot. It's just fun to look at. But B, because it does, again, it relates to what I want to talk about at the end of the video. And we get there with the flush. So go us. But again, we get it in a spot where we're expected to get it in, and we can just expect to our opponent drawing close to dead, if not actually drawing dead. And instead, he's just got the best hand. Again, it looks like in EV terms that this is going to be a big spike in our EV. You know, like we've won way more than we should. But again, it's unavoidable. So yeah, we'll go back and talk about it at the end. It's just another hand to be in there to go back and refer to. Oh, right, that was the last. Yeah, how was that the last hand? What's happened there? I thought there was one more hand to look at. Anyways, forget that. Right. So now we're going to go into this. This is my graph since getting back to PLO on Sundays. This is like 4 days. Volume's been not great because I've only been two tabling. Because I want to really concentrate and just focus on playing really well. I'm also playing higher stakes than I normally play. So I do want to be extra concentrated. So this is our graph. It's really good. Really happy with it. But then when we look at this, I'm playing in some of the softest games you can imagine. They're incredibly soft. I'm game selecting really well. You've seen that the previous video in this video, just how well I'm game selecting. But according to All in EV, I should be breaking even in these games. Instead, I'm €400 up, so I'm like significantly above All in EV. If we go and look at the sessions, we'll look at exactly how much All in EV. This is just like for the month so far. It's the only Omar I played this month. We should be $8.41 down. We should be running at all in adjusted of like basically break even -1 with 61 big blinds 100, which is really sexy. But we should be zero. We should be like basically even, according to All in EV. And this gets to the whole point of my video. This is maybe one of the last PLO videos I'm going to do. Probably aren't going to make some videos for a while because all we're going to be spending time looking at, I guess, is if I continue playing. It's just hands that we looked at there. Me getting the money in pretty good against Wales. They don't make for particularly interesting videos, I don't think. So maybe we'll just do once in a blue moon and maybe not look at hands and just talk about other stuff. I don't know. But yeah, this is what I want to talk about. It's like the whole point of the video really is all in EV a shit metric? I think it maybe is sometimes, but not always. I don't know. But like we've seen some of the hands, so we go back and look at where are we at? This one, wasn't it? Not this one, sorry. Where the fuck was it? Yeah, this one. Where oh, it wasn't that one. Oh, which one? Yeah, this one, sorry. This was the first one. Where it looks like well, we have got our money in really bad. But we don't do anything wrong here, in my opinion. So, but our all in EV, you know, in this particular hand, if we go and can we look at it on Holder Manager? How do we do this? It was this one, wasn't it? Let's just make this the correct size. Or size it a bit better. Oh, Reg, stop being a prick. And let's just get my normal HUD up because that HUD's a fucking mess. In fact, we don't even need the fucking HUD, do we? Hide HUD. It's going to tell us how much equity we've got. It will if we... Oh, Reg, stop being a prick. It's not how we want to do it, is it? It's not how we want to fucking do it. This is going to be the better way. So we got it all. There's nothing much we can do. We flop the second nut. We get it all in the flop. And we've got 15% equity. You know, but... So we ran way, way above EV in this hand. But I mean, is that fair? Is that like a fair way to judge that this hand? Like, you know, if you're playing a hand of poker and you get it all with 15% equity, it's fair to assume most of the time you haven't played very well. You've done really shit. You're getting it with 15% equity. That's really bad. Don't do that, Reg. But you know, we've got the second nuts in a squeezed pot. You know, what are we supposed to do? You know, of course we're going to get the money in. So is it fair to just judge this hand by the merits of all in EV? That's the question we want to ask, and I guess we can just do it with this one too, rather than go back and view the hand on the video. This is another one where you know we got our money in on the turn with just 40%. We've got top set. We've got a nut flush draw, so we've got to get it in, but then. You know, we get it all in against like the only hand that can have us fucking beat that he shouldn't have a lot of the time. You know, a lot of the time we're entitled for him to just have like a worse set or a worse flush draw or a worse set plus a worse flush draw and just have him literally drawing dead. But instead, we, you know, with a 40% underdog. So when we go back to looking at this, should I be overly concerned that I'm in games that are incredibly soft, but in terms of all in EV, I'm only breaking even? Obviously, I can work harder on my game. I can get better. Just a spoiler, I'm not going to study this game. I'm just going to play it and enjoy it. I'm not going to poison my mind with stuff I don't properly understand by doing some half-ass study that might actually make me fucking worse at the game because I'll start trying to do things I don't fully understand. At the moment, my strategy in this game is getting good hands, so we get good tables with bad players, and then just like push my equity. You know, I think I've got reasonable equity. Just get the money in and see how we go. So that's my strategy. I think it should work fine, but we're looking at this all in EV. It's not working fine at the moment because you know we're over an incredibly small sample. We're breaking even, and we should be, you know, at best breaking even according to this. But we're up €400. So obviously, I don't deserve to be up as far as I am. We've clearly ran insanely well in all our like flip type situations, and you know, ran even better in the situations where we're virtually fucking dead. But should I be downhearted by this? Should I be disheartened by this? You know, you know, even though I think I have a significant edge in terms of like general poker ability against my opponents in these games, against the regs, maybe some of the regs are better than me, more experienced than me. But against the whales, and I just have a big edge. But is it worth persevering with? Because if I'm only breaking even in all in EV in some of the softest games I've played in a fucking long time, then you know, what's going to happen when I start running badly? You know, am I just going to be a losing fucking player? Do I need to run well to win in these games? Of course we do. We all need to run well to win. But do I need to run like especially well to win? If I just run even, is this going to be my life? In say 100x this sample, which is unlikely because I wouldn't play break-even poker for 100,000 hands. I'd just do something else. But 100x this sample, so we've got 120,000 hands. If we're still breaking even in all in EV, then is it worth it? Are the games beatable? Let's have a look what the rake's looking like in these games. That's my entire month to date. Forget that. Doing okay, but again way above well. But that's like Hold'em and a lot. So if we just put pot limit Omaha in here, what's the rake? We're paying like 13.33 big blinds 100 in rake. That's a lot of rake. Basically, is the rake beatable? So we got like we're basically breaking even at all in EV at the moment. Small sample, don't really give a fuck. But then 13 big blinds 100. Is the rake really beatable? But then we got the second thing is I don't really need to make money from poker anymore because I don't rely on poker for much of an income. I'd rely on it for a bit of an income, but not much of an income. So can I just say fuck that and just playing games that I enjoy way more, and just accept that maybe I don't win in them, or maybe I don't win as much. But if I'm playing in these games at 50 pot limit Omaha, if I'm only making 10 binds in a month, it's that's like winning 25 binds at my regular stakes at cash. I don't fucking know. I don't really know. I don't know what to do going forwards. I do know that I'm enjoying these games at the minute, and until this drops significantly, I mean, to be fair, what I'm doing at the minute, I'm not keeping a lot of money. I'm playing on Grosvenor, as you can see. I'm not keeping a lot of money on there. I'm just hitting and running the games a lot because I do have history in PLO of basically just dusting it all off. That's not what we want to look at, is it? Do that. Do this. No, just do this because I mean we're pretty happy with that in general for our poker results. But this, I'm capable of this, like what's that? Capable of like 500 euro, and this isn't all at fucking 50 now. By the way, if we look at this in big blinds, maybe it looks even worse. I don't know. I've not done this yet. Like 25 buying downswing here, which is maybe relatively standard for PLO, I don't know. But that's shit. I'm capable of that shit at this game because I just blow my brains out. But in my defense, this sort of shit has happened when I've been playing too many tables and just fucking ruffling it all off like a fucking moron. I don't think that's not a good example of my fucking A game. But I do deviate a lot more from like A to D game playing PLO. I haven't done yet so far this week because I've just been two tabling and really concentrating hard, really focusing. And if the games aren't good, just quitting. Or if I feel like I'm ready to implode, just quitting, just like leaving good tables. So we haven't done any of that yet. But yeah, it's clearly capable of this game. I'm capable of dusting it all off. So what I'm doing to protect myself from that is I'm only keeping like 5 or 6 buy-ins on the site. So I can't have any like absolute disasters. If I had say £500 on Grosvenor and I had like a bad start to a session, it's possible I could dust off a lot of that before I came to my senses. I can't do that if I'm only keeping a small amount. I'm almost treating it like I'm playing live. Right, I'm going to the casino and I've got 4 buy-ins in my pocket. If I lose them 4 buy-ins, that's it, I'm going home. That's kind of how I'm treating PLO at the minute because quite frankly, I do not trust myself to keep a proper bankroll to play PLO actually in my account. And roll for these games in general, just with my like overall net worth, if you will. But my poker bankroll, I'm not rolled for these games. So I don't. I mean, we'll probably need what €5,000 to play these games properly. I don't have a €5,000 bankroll. My poker bankroll is around wherever, I don't know, 1,500, something like that. So even that's only like 30 to 35 buy-ins. It's not enough. But if we're just like two tabling and we're not having a lot on the site, then it doesn't matter. Because if I just dust it all off, say go and play tonight, I don't know, I've got like 250 quid in the account. If I dust that all off, then it's not the end of the world. I've got money on other sites that I can go back playing no limit on, etc. So I'm just literally at the moment, I'm treating my pot limit Omaha adventure right now in a different way than I've treated it in the past. I haven't got my entire bankroll or my entire bankroll on a site there. I'm just keeping a very, very small bankroll, effectively giving myself a stop loss, because I think stop losses work well if you've got the discipline to stop. Now, I haven't got the discipline to stop. Most of us haven't. If I've got, say, 5 or 600 in this account, and I'm grinding it and I'm playing and the games are good, that's all in play. If things start going bad, this shit can happen. This shit here can happen. But if I'm only starting the session with 200 quid in my pocket, because I'm not, what I won't do is, if I was losing, I wouldn't like tilt deposit. It's one thing I would never do. I'd never have and I never will. I've dusted off. I've dusted up accounts now and again, but I've never like dusted off accounts, then reloaded and dusted some more off. So from a mindset, from a mental game perspective, I'm more protected than usual, in terms of like losing lots and lots of like 100 big blind stacks, because I don't start in sessions with lots of 100 big blind stacks. So if I lose, like, maybe I have a bad session, I lose 3 or 4 buy-ins, that's the most it can be, and then I just fucking stop for the night and be cross, I guess. And then the next day, then I would have to decide, right, do I want to play a PLO again today? Am I willing to like reload the account a little bit and have another go? Or am I still a little bit too scarred from the previous session? So therefore, let's not fucking bother. Let's have a few days off. Or let's just, if I feel like playing poker, let's just play some lower stakes hold'em or something just to occupy myself. So I think I'm better protected against these big downswings because of the way I'm currently managing my bankroll. Long term, of course, it's not really a sustainable way to manage a bankroll. But I guess these days, with the ease it is to like deposit and withdraw, like both, you can withdraw within seconds now and get the monies back to your PayPal or whatever. Maybe it is reasonable. Maybe it is reasonable to just keep like just start every session with just 4 or 5 buy-ins, 2 tabling, and if it goes badly, I'm protected against those like really like month-defining crushes, losses. Who knows? There's a lot to me to think about. I'm liking what I'm doing at the minute. I'm game selecting well. I'm protecting myself from major downswings by major like bad tilt sessions by like limiting how much I'm starting the session within my actual account. But I'm running really well, and it's easy to be like overly positive when you're running really well. So who knows? I guess there won't be any more videos because I know PLO videos don't do well. This one won't do well. But I've just got the only reason I really made this, I didn't make it to review those hands, because a lot of PLO hands, they just play themselves, don't they? Unless you're like really good, and then there's lots of different things you can do. But I'm not really good, neither are my opponents. So we're kind of like hammer and chiseling it along with people who maybe only have a hammer or only have a chisel, but at least we've got a hammer and a chisel. So we're just playing against a bunch of fucking morons, and most of the hands probably aren't very interesting from like a proper PLO perspective, if you will. I'm just basically showing a bunch of coolers, aren't I? So I'm not going to continue doing that on my videos. I don't know what I'm going to do. I enjoy playing PLO and I quite enjoy looking at the hands and creating content with them. But it's not content that gets a lot of views. So I don't know what I'm going to do with videos going forward. If I end up going back to making no limit videos, I'll be really sad, because as we said right at the start of the video, I still love poker, but I'm not in love with no limit cash. Really not in love with it. There's just way too many really boring shit regs around that just make the game not a lot of fun. So I don't know. I haven't got a fucking clue. I'm enjoying PLO. I'm going to enjoy continue to play poker. Maybe some tournaments as well. Who knows? But in terms of content, I don't know when the next video will be, and I don't know what it's going to be about. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Hopefully, it's been quite thought-provoking for you guys who've stuck with it, and hopefully, I'll get some interesting comments both in the YouTube section. I'm going to post this to a couple of Facebook groups. So hopefully, for anyone who's got through the video to the end, or just fast forward to the end of the video, they're going to have some insightful comments to make. Maybe you make a comment and it's fucking shit. I don't know. But please comment. Please give me your thoughts on all the things we talked about, especially towards the end of the video. But I'm going to leave it there now. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate it. Yeah, take care. Enjoy your poker, and bye-bye for now.